Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly. This is The Real Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in. And an issue that has been very prevalent in sports over the last few months is a potential gay player coming out. We heard rumors that a gay player was considering coming out in the NFL. There were some pictures that surfaced, I believe, Antrel Rolle potentially being with another man, and I don't know what the deal was there. If Antrel Rolle is gay and he's just not ready to come out, I give him time and allow him to have his space. If he isn't gay and he was just with a guy and the pictures were kind of made to look bad, then I think people just need to get off his case. But Jason Collins today, NBA veteran who's been in the league for over 10 years. He's been a bench player, backup center, pretty much all his career. He's in the NBA Finals with the New Jersey Nets a few times in the early 2000s. Jason Collins came out today and became the first active player in any of the four major pro sports leagues in America, that's NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB, to admit that he was gay. And you know what, for Jason Collins, before I get to anything else, I gotta give it up to Jason Collins, because the bottom line is that he did something extremely hard, extremely difficult, and he is a pioneer, because there is no question about it that there are people that support Jason Collins, but there are going to be a lot of people who hate on Jason Collins, who will use slurs to Jason Collins if he is in the NBA next year in opposing state or arenas, whatever the case is. Jason Collins, this isn't going to be an easy process for him. He's going to be labeled as, no matter what he does throughout the rest of his NBA career, if it continues, Jason Collins is always going to be labeled as the first gay athlete. And, you know, I give him a lot of credit for doing this, because it's something that is extremely hard. Now, we don't know exactly what his reasoning for doing this was, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I'm going to read the statement. This is due to come out in this week's Sports Illustrated. He said, "I didn't set out to be the first openly gay athlete in a major American team sport, but since I am, I'm happy to start the conversation. I wish I wasn't the kid in the classroom raising his hand and saying I'm different. If I had my way, someone else would have already done this. Nobody has, which is why I'm raising my hand." He also talked about how the Boston Marathon shooting kind of reminded him that, you know, you don't live for a long time, anything can happen, and he is gay, and he has the opportunity to come out and be that guy that is a pioneer and makes it easier for the next wave of gay athletes to kind of come out and be accepted into sports. And he took the initiative here. And again, big props to Jason Collins. Now, a lot of people have listened to radio, TV. A lot of people are wondering if, because Jason Collins is doing this prior to being a free agent, is he coming out now simply because he wants to be in the NBA for another year? And unfortunately, I can certainly see that side, that maybe Jason Collins only did this now because he wants to get another year or two in the NBA. And the NBA is going to be in a bad situation if they don't give Jason Collins a contract. Then they look bad, because it looks like, I'm listening to Mike Missinelli earlier on 97.5 The Fanatic in Philadelphia, and he's talking about if they do not give him a job, then it looks like the NBA says, here's a guy that has the courage to come out, and we're not going to give him a job. And that's exactly what it's going to look like, regardless of the fact that Jason Collins has been a below-average player for pretty much his entire NBA career. That's not the important part. The important part is now that Jason Collins is the first openly gay athlete in the NBA, in any pro sport in America. And the bottom line is that even though he's a free agent, he's 34 years old, there's really no reason why Jason Collins necessarily would have had to be in the NBA next year. But, and there still, to me, isn't a ton of motive team-wise to bring him in. But I just look around the NBA, and I hope that there's a GM that says, look, we have 12 spots on this team, 11 of them are filled. I'm going to do something that's right. It might not be what's best for this NBA team, and it's going to have to be an entire front office and ownership group that does it. I'm going to do something that is right and sets the example. The way that Branch Rickey was the first guy to bring in Jackie Robinson, bring in a black player to professional sports. That's kind of the role that this GM is going to have, because a lot of people are looking at Jason Collins as he's going to be the Jackie Robinson in this situation, but Jackie Robinson wasn't Jackie Robinson, and so Branch Rickey gave him the opportunity to join the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947. So Jason Collins is going to have to get that opportunity from someone, and whoever that is, in my mind, deserves almost as much credit as Jason Collins, because they're going to be criticized. They're going to hear the slurs, even though they're not even the one that is gay. And essentially, this is a tough situation for the NBA. Let me read off a few of the reactions from players around the NBA, because it's been a wide range of athletes, not only in the NBA, but around the spectrum of pro sports. Mike Wallace had some negative tweets about it. He deleted those tweets. Kobe Bryant today, though, came out, and I got to give a lot of props to Kobe Bryant, saying, proud of @JasonCollins34 on Twitter. Don't suffocate who you are because of the ignorance of others. Hashtag courage, hashtag support, hashtag Mamba Army stand up. And, I give Kobe Bryant a lot of credit, because he's someone that is influential. He's that good, has that many fans, that he can change the mindset of quite a few people. And this, to me, goes towards where people will talk about, oh, well, now he's not going to be able to be in the NBA because players won't want to have him in the same locker room. I think there's going to be a lot of players that will sit back and they'll say, you know what, this is the right thing to do. And quite honestly, as an athlete, I played basketball, baseball, soccer, run track. I don't really think it's that big of a deal to change in a locker room with the gay guy. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be quite honest with you. And I certainly understand that there will be athletes who feel differently, but I think that people are overusing the idea that, oh, well, now he can't be in an NBA team, or any athlete can't come out because they won't be accepted in the locker room. I think there will be quite a few people that accept them in the locker room. And like I said a few weeks ago, when the NFL player, the rumors were surfacing that an NFL player was going to come out, I think that whatever this player does, they're going to have to basically come into the situation and say, I'll change in a different room, I'll do whatever, I'm not going to make this into a big issue. And then the teammates will say, no, we're a team, you're going to change in the same locker room as us. They'll do something along those lines. Now, some of the other people that came out and made statements today, David Stern, the NBA commissioner, said, as Adam Silver, who's the deputy commissioner, and I said to Jason, we have known the Collins family since Jason and Jaren, his brother, joined the NBA in 2001, and they have been exemplary members of the NBA family. Jason has been a widely respected player and teammate throughout his career, and we are proud he has assumed the leadership role on this very important issue. Now, I don't know if David Stern agrees, feels that way, but essentially that's all David Stern can say, because he can't come out and say anything negative, because then that makes the NBA as a whole look like they are anti-gay, and I hopefully David Stern really does feel that way. But the NBA Players Association also came out in this situation, and they released a statement. They said, as Jason wrote, pro basketball is a family, and he has and always will be our brother. The NBA Players Association is dedicated to fighting for the best interest and the unity of all players, regardless of race, creed, color, age, nation, or national origin, or sexual orientation. Today is another example of how we are intent on continuing our work. And, so far we see a lot of people come out on the side of Jason Collins. Unfortunately, there's going to be people that do come out negatively against Jason Collins, and in most cases, and Chris Broussard, in one respect, Chris Broussard on Outside the Lines today, he came out and said that, and Chris Broussard has a religious background, he came out and said that he felt like it was a sin, and that he did not believe Jason Collins was a Christian, and he did not believe homosexuality was, or that he believed that it is a sin. And from there, I feel like that is an extremely, I can't even think of the exact word for it, because part of me says people have a right to their opinion. Chris Broussard is an extremely religious guy. He has the right to feel that way. He didn't come out and bash it. He just came out and simply said that, look, I don't agree with it. But at the same time, I can come out and say, look, I don't like African American people. I don't like Asian people. And just because I don't say it in a nasty way, it doesn't change the fact that I said it. And the statement that Chris Broussard made, to me, it just comes off as, I don't want to say bigoted, but it comes off as unaccepting of others. And I feel like Chris Broussard, I don't know why he made the statement, because the bottom line is that he had to know he was going to get a reaction. Certainly ESPN is going to have to clean that mess up at this point. He had to know it was going to get a reaction. And I don't know what to say about Chris Broussard. I don't think he should be fired for this statement. I don't think he should be suspended or anything like that. It's not Rob Parker coming out and making just an extremely racist statement aimed at RG3. It's not along those same lines, but at the same time, it's unaccepting. And these are the type of people that my generation, I'm 17 years old, needs to kind of take a stand at and say, look, our parents may just, they might never get it. But we have a chance now, because their parents/grandparents, depending on how old they are, they didn't get African American people, and we now live in a world where African American people have rights, they're accepted in the society as they should be, and we are a better world and a better place because of that. And it's time for our generation at this point to take a stand and say that this is wrong. Treating gay people this way is wrong, and that we need to become openly accepting the way that generations before us did of other races, religions, whatever the case is. We need to take that next step and become stronger overall as a human race. It's not just America. It's not just white people, black people, Asian people. It's everyone across the globe that needs to become more accepting and just let people be who they are, because people are using this Bible excuse. And you know what? This is honestly something that just turns me so far off being religious or anything, and it's sad, really. But that's exactly what it does, is it makes me want to not even be religious. These people that will go back to a part in the Bible, and they will truly try and say that God or Jesus would not be accepting of someone because they're different. That has got to be the most hypocritical, stupidest thing that I have ever heard in my life. I don't care what line from the Bible says what that you're twisting to make people think the way that you think. Because the bottom line is that in the Bible it also says, treat your neighbor how you want to be treated, and things along those lines, and respect your neighbor, and anything like that. And how is that doing that? How are you being religious by being anti-gay? And even if you believe that being gay is against religion and everything, you think it's a sin, it's not your problem. I'm perfectly straight. I will throw that out there just to clear that up. I'm perfectly straight, and it's always been puzzling to me. Even if you're against it, why is it your problem to deal with? If you think it's a sin, okay, then when they die and go to heaven, hell, whatever, that God will make that decision. But it's not your place in society to come make that decision and be judgmental on people, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Jason Collins becomes the first player in American pro sports history to, while they are still active, and he's technically still active, we'll see if he remains after this story and the fact that he just really isn't that great of an overall player. But we'll see what happens. Jason Collins, again, I give him a ton of props regardless of why he did it. He did it. He's a pioneer, and he will go down in sports history as not necessarily the level of Jackie Robinson, but he will go down as one of the most influential players in sports history. And it's not going to be because he's a great player the way that Jackie Robinson was, but it's going to be because he was the first one to do it. He was the one that had the balls to go out and do it and make this statement. And as far as the comments section below, I'm going to allow people to leave their opinions within limit. If it gets to the point where it is just clear bigotry and idiocy, whatever the word is, I'm deleting the comment. I'm not screwing around with the comment section below. I will allow people to leave their opinions because I know that not everyone, unfortunately, agrees with the way that I think, but keep it within reason. Keep it demonstratable or whatever. Keep it so I don't look bad by having that in the comments of one of my videos. Thank you guys for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, KASHKelly_TRST, Facebook.com/TheRealSportsTalk, and Section215.com. See you guys next time.